Hey guys, how y'all doing today? My name is Franchise Fanatic and welcome back to the channel. And today, if you guys, is another, I can't believe I'm saying this, but another MCU review. We're not doing Far From Home, that's going to be next. Today we're actually doing Deadpool 3, aka Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, this is a, I had to get that out, but anyway. This is the first R-rated MCU movie that has ever been made. I guess you could say that, you know, the TV show Echo was the first, you know, MA R-rated thing, but whatever. This is a big friggin' deal, okay? This is not going to be a spoiler review. If you have not seen Deadpool 3, aka Deadpool and Wolverine, please go out and see this movie. I mean, I think anyone that really wanted to go and see this movie has essentially seen it, I would at least hope. You know, movies aren't like, you know, they're expensive, but they're not like stupid expensive. And, you know, true Marvel fans, I'm assuming, will try to see it ASAP. If you haven't, though, make sure to go and see it ASAP. Because, again, even though I'm not going to ruin the movie, I still want to talk about it. So maybe in a week or two, I'll do a spoiler, you know, review or what have you. But anyway, we are going to be doing this, so make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new. I can't wait to talk about this movie. It's going to be hard to review it without spoiling it because, surprisingly, this is the most spoilers-centric Marvel movie essentially since either No Way Home or No Way Home. Endgame or No Way Home. There you go. And with that being said, you know, you gotta be careful online. Like I said I think I said in my Deadpool 2 review, maybe, I don't know. But again, be careful. There are spoilers online. There's crazy people. There's just like I was looking up Lego Indiana Jones gameplay and effing Deadpool and Wolverine spoilers come up, so just be freaking careful, alright? But this is essentially a love letter to not only the Fox films, but also, you know, the current state of the MCU as a whole as well. It's kind of like a mix, because, you know, a lot of this movie is, you know, taking place in the Fox universe, right? With Deadpool, with Wolverine, with any other cameos or any other characters. But, you know, the whole, if you've seen the trailer, the whole aspect, essentially, you know, I don't want to ruin all of it, but the TVA from the Loki TV show, which is part of the MCU, they essentially track Wade Wilson, Deadpool, because he's been effing up with the space-time continuum or whatever, the time travel thing, in Deadpool 2, where he rescues Vanessa and Peter and a few other people, and he's kind of been messing with that, and the TVA don't like that too much. So they're kind of getting him, you know, to kind of do a mission for them, because there's a specific, you know, Deadpool's world is dying, and they're going to prune it, they're going to kill everyone in his world. Again, that's in the trailer. And he's like, hey, my whole family's in this picture. My whole family is like 9 or 10 people. There's a few characters from Deadpool 2 that actually aren't in this film at all. I don't know if that's because they were either canceled figures or, you know, maybe they were filming something else. I don't really know, but, you know, whatever. I'm not going to say who it is, but not really a negative, but just thought they'd be there. And then, of course, you know, Deadpool meets with Wolverine. They have a fight, which we see in the trailer, and then they kind of learn to work together in the film. This movie works on so many levels. One, it's R-rated. And I think that's good because the first two were, you know, I think Deadpool 1 had that habit of being edgy just to be edgy. Like, look, we're R-rated, let's just swear. You know, it didn't really make sense. Deadpool 2 had a lot of swearing, but for some reason it didn't feel as forced. Deadpool and Wolverine does have F-words in it. Wolverine and Deadpool say the F-word quite a lot, but it doesn't feel as forced. Maybe it feels a little bit forced because, again, you're used to these characters, especially Wolverine, when you're not watching Logan or a few lines in other films, or, you know, other MCU films. Not that the MCU other movies are for children, because they're not. They're PG-13. But at the same time, you know, having, you know, maybe one F-word or, you know, a bunch of other swears and not the F-word, and then hearing Wolverine and Deadpool say it so much, it's a bit jarring. But it does work with the characters. It's pretty funny at times. And again, a lot of the jokes that aren't R-rated, I don't know why I'm doing this, going down, it is very much funny, and I think it's a really good compliment, because when they're not swearing and they're telling good jokes that don't involve cursing, they're pretty freaking funny. And like I said, the CGI being a Marvel movie, being a CGI, or being a you know, MCU movie, obviously I believe this is the biggest budget out of the 3 Deadpool films. The first one was actually pretty cheap. Second one, a little more. This is obviously a lot more. There's some pretty crazy effects. But the CGI is actually one of my first negatives. You know, like I said, I genuinely love this film. But if I had to critique a few things, there's just a few little nitpicks regarding CGI. Dogpool is actually, from what I could see, 100% real. I mean, he's not, you know, he's just running around and jumping into things, and, you know, he looks real. He doesn't look like a CGI dog like Goose and Miss Marvel or in the Marvels, stuff like that. You know, there's a few moments with Wolverine, certain scenes where he's kind of fighting Deadpool. He kind of like runs like Beast, like, you know, like on all fours for like a split second. I know Hugh Jackman's up there in age. He's not like stupid old, but he's, I don't know, 58, something like that. And he is obviously not an old guy, but he's also not like, you know, 20 anymore. So I get it, you know, he's doing a lot of crazy shit in this movie, but a lot of the stuff that he can't do, they obviously have to CGI it, and it does look a bit jarring. You know, there's a few moments in the beginning and then toward the end of the film, Wolverine specifically, which look a little bit wonky. You know, there's one cameo that looks a little cartoony, but I don't mind that. It's supposed to look that way. If you've read a Deadpool comic, you know who I mean. Don't say it in the comments. But there's also stuff like, you know, there's, you know, the fight scene between Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's actually in the trailer, like a TV spot or something. And Deadpool has this katana that I had, and he kind of like turns around and he kind of like throws it at the camera, and the katana blade goes right to the camera, and then he catches it, right, and he fights Wolverine. If you notice carefully in the trailer, the effing katana literally, when he goes like this and he throws it, it clips through him. Like, there's no blood. It's not like he threw it through himself. It's just a CGI mistake. And the sword literally clips through him. I wish I could grab it. But it goes like through his, like, right here. And they didn't effing fix that for the movie. It's a little weird. I get it. You know, look, it's not a CGI-intensive film like Endgame. But I get it. Mistakes happen. You know, shit happens. But it's a slow motion shot, and he's throwing the katana, you know, toward the frame, toward the audience. It's very jarring. You can clearly see it clip through his shoulder. It looks kind of cheap. I get it. It's something they missed, but it shouldn't have been missed, considering it's such a tent-pole shot in the film. A little weird. Again, a few scenes with Wolverine that are a bit CGI. You could tell. You know, it's nothing crazy, but I did expect a little better in terms of the CGI quality. Nothing effing horrible like Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or, you know, the Black Panther 1 fight scene in the end. You know, it's not bad, but it does stand out in a way which I had to kind of mention this for the review. Also, there is, you know, Vanessa is back. A lot of the characters from the first two films are back as well. Vanessa is, if you've read the synopsis for the film, Vanessa is not with Wade anymore. They kind of broke up, which at first is a big effing red flag. So I'm like, wait a minute. They literally, like, Wade had cancer, and she's like, I'm sticking with it. And then she dies, and then Wade goes back in time to save her, and she's like, nah. I'm like, alright. If I went back in time for a cute girl, saved her, and then she told me, no, I don't want to be with you after it's like, dude, babe, I just saved your effing life. You know, it's kind of weird. You know, they go into the reasoning why in the film. It's not very strong reasoning. I'm going to be straight up. It's not the best. It's not like, oh, man, it's not dumb, but it's not, you know, in terms of the story, it's probably the least well written aspect. Maybe I'm actually seeing the movie again soon, so maybe I'll, you know, think about it differently. But, you know, I wanted to make the review after the first viewing, so it wasn't like cheating or nothing. Oh, I saw it a second time and it was worse or better. You know, this is after the first viewing. But, you know, Vanessa's good in it for the most part. Everyone else is good. Peter's back. Dolphinder's back. Weirdly, this isn't going to count toward the, you know, the score, but Dolphinder in Deadpool 1 and 2 is, I haven't really heard the actor who plays him. It's not Kumail Nanjiani or whatever from the Lego Ninjago movie or whatever, but, you know, he I don't know how to do this without getting canceled. But, you know, like Apu from The Simpsons, where it's like, hello there, beta, how are you doing? You know what I mean? Like that kind of voice. The stereotypical Muslim voice, which I guess is bad now. I mean, it's funny as all hell, but I get it. I guess it's stereotypical. Fucking cares. It's funny. But it's, you know, in Deadpool 1 and 2, he's like, hello there, Mr. Pool. You know what I mean? Like, they do that. And in this one, he doesn't have that many lines. You know, they're not in it a whole lot. But he's like, hey there, Wade, I'm really glad you're doing it. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm listening. I'm like, he doesn't sound like that. It's, I don't know. It's weird. Like I don't know if they went woke or they oh we can't get people mad. You know, I don't know if they went woke. It is a Disney movie, so maybe they did. I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid. I was hearing wrong. But to me, it sounded like they cut back on the Apu voice, which that's part of the comedy of that character. It's heightened to that extent for a purpose. It's to be funny. It's not racist. It's fucking comedy. But at the same time, I understand it. You know what I mean? It's a bit weird. Again, it's nothing to do with the review, but, you know, I hate when things are woke and they cancel things and they alter things to appease. Don't do that. It's funny. And, you know, it's not a big deal, but it's just something I noticed. Thankfully, other than that, this movie is not woke, right? It's not trying to deliver a message down your throat. Thank the gods. Thank Marvel Jesus himself. It is not woke in the slightest. That's good. It's just a straight-up comedy. There's a lot, like, in terms of the MCU, it's very gory. Not, it's not like Evil Dead levels of gore, but, it's a Deadpool, it's rated R, so, there's more blood than your typical MCU thing. But I think that works. I love the way they wrote Deadpool in this. Again, the opening from the opening to the end, I think they nailed the character as always. They nailed the character of Wolverine. Again, this is not Wolverine from the movie Logan. It's a variant. That is explained in the marketing and in the trailers and all that, so it's not the version from Logan. However, X-23 is back from Logan. Don't worry, it's in the trailer. I'm not going to say what happens and all that, but she is in it, so that's cool. Even though it's a different version of Wolverine, the writing for that is really, really good. Again, I think that the jokes land basically all the time. I pretty much laughed out loud, or it's, like did that kind of thing. Not like asthma attack, but I was like that, whatever. In the movie, it was kind of cool, so I enjoyed that. Like I said, the story is pretty good. I hear people saying that the story isn't as good. I get it. A lot of this movie is, straight up fan service. It's just crazy shit's happening. It's like almost overwhelming. It's effing insane the amount of stuff that's in this film, and not just in terms of cameos, but just in terms of what they're doing. It's crazy, and with that, they're still able to tell a relatively grounded story about Deadpool and his arc and his wants in the film, and Wolverine and how they kind of coalesce and how they turn from enemies to friends for the most part, and also Cassandra Nova is in this, the villain who is the twin sister of Professor X. I don't know what version of Professor X or what variant, but she is in it. She's easily the best Deadpool villain out of Ajax and I guess like half and half Cable, and then the weird guy who was torturing Russell and all the other mutants in that school. Obviously, they're not bad villains in Deadpool 1 and 2, but Cassandra Nova in this is much more menacing, has a clearer motive, and I think that it was really well done in terms of, she's not the best MCU villain, but in terms of what we've gotten with Deadpool, I think she's really great. And again, like I said, the CGI for the most part is really great. The comedy's great. The music that they do is great. The editing is fantastic. There are so many holy shit moments in this movie you're going to lose your friggin' mind. If you're a big fan of Marvel in terms of the MCU stuff and the Fox properties, you're going to be absolutely losing your mind. Hopefully you weren't spoiled already. I did get spoiled on one thing the day before I saw the movie. So you just got to be careful. But the overall end goal here is that, like I said, they're able to honor the X-Men movie. Right, because in terms of honoring the X-Men movies, when Disney bought Fox, they could have easily said, F that stuff, X-Men, Fantastic Four, everything that they, bought. They could have just said, screw it, and dumped it in the trash, and and they are rebooting, but they could have just completely ignored it. But there are cameos in this film from specific IPs that now make those specific IPs canon to the MCU through the multiverse, right? Just like how Spider-Man No Way Home had Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, right? Those two movies were Sony and they were not part of the MCU, but because of No Way Home, they are now connected, just like the specific like Deadpool 1 and 2 now. Other things that you'll see when you watch the movie, and of course, the Spider-Man stuff and the Across and Into the Spider-Verse, the Spider-Man PS4 games, all this stuff, the Sony movies, Morbius, Venom, all of that is now canon to the MCU via the multiverse, and that's effing crazy. Even if you're not the biggest fan of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, or Morbius, or whatever, the fact that they're now canon to the MCU through the multiverse is so freaking cool, because now the MCU is just expanding, and they're able to take these movies and these IPs and these franchises that, were loved, but maybe not as loved now, they're kind of like, at the wayside. Now they're able to be relevant again, and that's effing amazing, as a comic book fan, I was losing my friggin' mind. I'm like, Jesus, like, in this movie and No Way Home, I was like, wow. And then they made the Netflix stuff canon, and Marvel Spider-Man 2 on PS5, the PlayStation Spider-Man games, those are canon through the multiverse. The MCU is just getting stupid big now, and I think that's a good thing. If anything, that's the best thing that the multiverse saga has done so far, is make other stuff canon to the MCU through that. Really freaking cool. And again, they're able to do that with some other Fox things that I'm not going to tell you, but it's really, really great. But even if you take out the cameos and the oh my god moments, the movie is still freaking great. It's easily the best Deadpool movie, easily. I love Deadpool 2. It's one of my favorite Marvel movies, and this one tops it just a little bit for me. It's fun. It's funny. It's just really, I don't want to say wholesome, but it does have kind of, maybe not as much as Deadpool 2, but there are some wholesome moments, and it's not just all gore and F-bombs. They have a story to tell. It's a good story. It's well written, and for the most part, my only issues are the one Vanessa thing and some CGI moments and all that, and of course the katana clipping through his shoulder. That's an easily avoidable thing they should have seen. It was in the effing trailer and they didn't see it, so I guess they're stupid or blind. But I get it. It's hard to make a movie. It's hard to do CGI. It's not, you don't just click effing button and it's done. You got to do that stuff. But at the same time, it's a multi-billion-dollar franchise. You'd think they'd take a little bit more care with that kind of stuff. But what do I know? I don't do that kind of thing. But overall, again, Deadpool and Wolverine is a freaking amazing time, man. It's a heck of a lot of fun. Really, really just a funny movie. Action-packed, has a good story, good heart, good message. Nothing woke, except for, I guess they Americanized Dopinder for whatever reason. But they also just kind of made a... without poking fun at the Fox stuff, they were able to, honor that and validate that. Not in a weird way, but, make that stuff feel relevant again. And also make some of that stuff that wasn't previously canon, now canon through the multiverse. That's amazing, but the movie itself is also amazing. It's very funny, has a lot of action moments, good writing, really good jokes that, poke fun at upcoming things that weren't made, specific actors and actresses that, have been fired or rehired or just crazy stuff like that. There's a lot of, fourth wall breaking jokes. Of course, Deadpool and Wolverine are written really well. The story's fun. I like the villain, and again, it definitely... if you bought tickets to see Deadpool and Wolverine either fight or just work together as a team to do a specific thing, they do that. But then you also get these crazy So, when you pay for this movie, you're getting exactly what you want, but you're also getting more. It's just like Spider-Man No Way Home. No one in the effing world expected Tobey and Andrew to show up. We all thought, we all hoped, but then when it happened, we were like, oh my god, they effing did it. These freaking madmen, they did it. And it was crazy, because the movie was already amazing, and we'll get to it, but... then they made it even more amazing by actually doing what people wanted. They do that in this film. So for people that call this movie pure fan service and that's it, really boring movie or really shitty narrative, I don't understand that. Because the story that they're trying to tell, without ruining it, makes sense, it works, and again, it honors the old Fox stuff while also bringing some of that stuff into the MCU now through the multiverse, and there are really, really a lot of good moments where, it's not confusing. It sounds like it could be, because, what's canon now, and what actually counts, and what isn't canon, what isn't part of the lore, they make it very clear, and again, by the time you exit that theater, you're going to be laughing, having a lot of fun, really badass action, and again, it does really kind of make you, think and just kind of have these moments where you're like, wow, like stuff that wasn't canon is now part of the MCU, and through that you also get a really good story as well regarding Deadpool and Wolverine. Like I said, they're both written great. They both have reasons as to why to achieve something. It's not just there to, oh look, we're there and we're making jokes. Deadpool is, as much as he is about killing guys and saying the F word and making sex jokes, there is a story, and it is a very well written story. Maybe not the best MCU film of all time, but it's a lot better than what I thought it was going to be. From the trailers it looked great. Like, don't get me wrong. But you get everything you want in that trailer and so much more. Again, without ruining it, please, if you have seen it, don't spoil it in the comments, or don't spoil it, period, on the internet. Don't be an a-hole. I've seen so many effing YouTube videos of total morons and rejects posting spoilers after like 2 days after it's out. I get it. Not everyone can afford a movie ticket right now. It's not super expensive, but for whatever reason, if you can't afford it, or you don't want to go yet, or you can't make it to a theater, try your best to avoid that kind of stuff. Because, man, seeing that in theaters for the first time, and, not being spoiled on Twitter by some guy that lives in his... I'm filming this in my basement, but still. Some guy that lives in his basement, you know what I mean? Like, I don't live here, okay? I just film here. But it's really weird that, you don't want to... No one wants that, you don't want to be spoiled. So try your best to not get ruined. But at the end of the day, man, like I said, it's a great film. It's the first R-rated MCU movie. Deadpool, the first 2 Deadpool films, and some other stuff are now canon to the MCU. So the MCU is now even bigger than it was less than a week ago. You're getting a lot more, Deadpool goodness, some really good jokes, great action, easily the best action in any Deadpool movie in terms of choreography, cinematography. It looks freaking great. And yeah, man, I am genuinely excited for what the future of the MCU now holds. I was never one of those people that hated the MCU. I was never like, oh, the MCU's dead, it's bad. There was some woke stuff, and there was some stuff that wasn't really that good in terms of quality either, but none of the MCU has been genuinely awful where I wanted to burn the Blu-ray, you know what I mean? Like, I don't love Thor, Love and Thunder, we'll get to it, but I still bought the Blu-ray. Like, it's a watchable movie. It's fun. it may not be very well written in some instances, but it's fun, you know what I mean? So I never hated the MCU. I was never a hater. And now that we have, the Fantastic Four first steps coming out in 2025, Thunderbolts, Avengers Doomsday, because F. Kang, I guess, right? Thanks, Jonathan Major, you freaking moron. We have that. We have, Robert Downey Jr., who played Iron Man. He's officially back as Dr. Doom. I don't know if that's either really desperate and sad or genuinely cool. I'm excited for it. I think they'll do a good job. Obviously, they got in Robert Downey Jr. because of the hate that the MCU has been getting. Let's not kid ourselves. But I'm assuming he'll do a great job. Anthony and Joe Russo, who helmed, in my opinion, the best Marvel movies of all time, Captain America: The Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, and Endgame, they are officially back for Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. So look, the MCU is just getting freaking massive. They're adding all these older things to it as well, which makes, again, non-relevant films and franchises relevant again, which is great. So if anything, my MCU rewatch thing here is going to get even longer, but hey, whatever, I'm going to do it. It's crazy to put Deadpool and Wolverine without the MCU, without the quotation marks. Because, like I said, this is an official MCU film. Deadpool and Wolverine, while they're in the Fox universe for 99% of the film, there are things, which I'm not going to ruin, which, connected to the MCU, or 616 or whatever. And again, man, it's really great time to be a Marvel fan. I absolutely love this movie. A few issues here or there, nothing too crazy. So I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine an A. The Vanessa thing is very, very minor, and the CGI stuff really is only there if you're looking for it. Maybe it's just because I had to review this. But at the end of the day, man, it's really funny, really fun, great action, really good story, great cameos. Just an overall really effing good time. And Deadpool is even more prominent now than he ever was before. I mean, we got freaking Deadpool and Wolverine telling stories in Disneyland. It's an alright Deadpool voice. I need to work on my own Deadpool voice. I'm not saying mine is amazing, but I got to work on it. Don't worry. Maybe I'm gonna order the suit. Who knows? The voice is a little deep, but it's fine. I am excited for what the MCU holds in the future, though, genuinely, and I'm excited to continue my rewatch here with Spider-Man: Far From Home next. I know we kind of jumped around, but I wanted to cover this film since it's pretty fresh. Again, careful of spoilers, don't ruin it, comments below, and see this movie ASAP in theaters. You're going to love it. Thank you guys, and we'll see you in the next video.